With the Notre Dame Fighting Irish returning from its bye to finish out its season, it has 4 games remaining on its schedule. Having found out where they ranked in the first release of the college football playoff, the Fighting Irish look to move up in the eyes of the committee. But they still have 4 foes in their way, one of which doesn't have much of a season remaining, but can still pose a dangerous threat to the Irish in its national championship hopes. Want to find out who's coming to South Bend and what kind of threat they pose? Find out next on Talk Like a Champion. Welcome back, Irish Nation. So glad to be back with you after taking a week off. I am Mr. CeeLo joining you here once again. It's good to be back. Hopefully our guys in white, blue, and gold are back at it and ready to defend Notre Dame Stadium as they welcome in the Florida State Seminoles, whom have had, to say the least, a disappointing season. I would say an unexpected disappointing season. But nonetheless, this is a game where we've got to be very, very careful because Mike Norvell and his guys would like nothing more than to get a signature win and somewhat salvage their season. But as I said, there were many things that the Irish, Marcus Freeman, and the guys in blue and gold worked on during their week out. And of course, many of those things have to do with Riley Leonard and him gaining confidence with his throwing ability. Now, guys, as many of you may or may not know, I am a Carolina Panther fan. But I'm going to draw some comparisons out of what's going on in Charlotte as compared to what needs to happen in South Bend. Now, over the last couple of weeks, we've seen Riley Leonard especially during this past game where he took shots down the field. Just the fact that he's taking shots down the field is a plus. The accuracy is something else to be desired. Hopefully, it's got something to do with chemistry and learning his receivers, which is something that is so crucial to the success of football teams and the camaraderie that goes with it. Listen, you can have camaraderie, but if you don't have timing, especially in the passing game, it does you no good when you need it. Because when you get to where you're playing these corners that play tight coverage, there's a little margin, if any, for error. And when that's where your interceptions come into play. And you get a lot of people that are saying, "Oh, don't throw it. Irish Nation, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but in order for us to win a national championship or compete for one, we are going to have to stretch the field. There's no other way to put it. You're going to have to accept this reality is that the only way we are going to win a championship is to stretch it down the field. You're just going to have to accept this. And the reality of it is, I would rather Leonard get picked off 40 yards down the field than to get picked off on a 5-yard out and it gets taken back the distance. Now, I know what people are going to say. There's a chance that you could take back a 40-yard bomb for a touchdown. Very true. But at least we would have had a chance to stop it. There's no chance to stop a 5-yard out. None. But let's get into the the keys to victory against the Florida State Seminoles. Now, I will tell you, we played Georgia Tech earlier, and we did not play Haynes King. I will say that. When Florida State had to deal with him week 1, he was a nightmare for him. And I think, to me, Riley Leonard is a bigger, much more efficient passer than King. Now, I will say this, not by much. But when Leonard is locked in, he has the ability to be an elite quarterback. You won't hear me say this often, but just the last couple of games have really shown me that Riley Leonard is taking throwing the football seriously. And he's become more engaged in doing it. And he's become comfortable taking shots down the field. And I don't know if that's a tribute to Denbroke getting into him, or maybe Marcus Freeman is saying, hey, big guy, take the shot. Just go ahead, take it. But what it does for the running game is just incredibly opening, because we can get that open space. As we already know, Jeremiah Love is a first-round running back. He's an elite player in the national spotlight. And now that he's getting more feature reps, he's really starting to climb up a lot of boards as far as awareness goes. A lot of coaches are aware of him, and they know when they play Notre Dame, that's who they've got to deal with. But nonetheless, I believe that Florida State's offense has been a struggle. DJ Uiagalelei has not been who they thought he would. I knew who he was. I knew he was a guy that was a journeyman, that he started off great as a freshman at Clemson, and then it just dialed down from there. I mean, it was more like he's the only quarterback I've seen that has taken that big of a drop ever. I've never seen a guy go from being one of the best in the country to an absolute disappearing act. But needless to say, this is a game I feel like Notre Dame can control from the defensive side, even if they don't want to take risks down the field. The big thing is you don't want to give Florida State extra opportunities, and that goes with any team. Notre Dame's got to focus on winning the 3 cats that I always say are the formula for the upset. Mr. CeeLo's formula for the upset. Make sure we gain yardage, make sure we don't turn the football over, make sure we possess the football longer. We don't want to get in a situation where we're on and off the field so quick and Florida State's got the ball 40 minutes and they're kicking field goals. Because here's the reality: if they're keeping the ball that long, you guys, and let's say they're kicking field goals and we're going 3 and out. Guess what? Those field goals add up. We could score a touchdown and they're up 9-7, or they're up 15-14. And they're possessing the football that long. We don't want to get in a situation where we're allowing Florida State to run the football. We need to keep them in third and longs so that we can dial up our Al Golden special, our packages and whatnot. This game could be a huge test to our secondary. Now, our secondary is held up pretty well, but Florida State still got some pretty good athletes on the outside. So we've got to maintain our assignments, and we've got to make sure that we don't let Florida State's offense get rolling. As I said, the one thing I want to be able to see, and I hope you guys want to as well, is we need to be able to see Riley Leonard taking strides as far as his passing and his ability to make corrective reads. I want to see him throw it down the field. I don't want to see him making short reads. I think ultimately what's going to open up our running game is that people on the other side say they're willing to take shots. We cannot get beat down the field. Get Jaden Grayhouse into space. Let him be the underneath guy. Bo Collins is the guy that is going to be a terror for people to deal with going down the field. And I hope Jadarian Price becomes more involved in the offense. And because lately it seemed like he's been less and less involved in the offense, because this guy is a very dangerous runner, very strong runner. You get your running backs, and this is the thing. We've got such a huge stable of backs. There's no reason why we should have fresh backs every single play. Once one of our guys gets to a point where, look, we need to have this understood. If you need a blow, don't hesitate, because the reality of it is we can keep throwing fresh bodies at those defenses, whether it's Florida State or the upcoming schedule that we have, the more yardage we're going to gain because we're fresh. Those are fresh legs. And teams like that are very low on depth in their front seven, it wears on them. Maybe not in the first, maybe not in the second, but definitely wears on them late third and the fourth. Where we want to be, whether we're behind or whether we're ahead. But I'm looking at this game and I'm thinking Notre Dame's going to be able to go into the third quarter and possibly get some of their starters out of there by late third quarter. I think, this is going to be one of those games where Marcus Freeman is going to be able to try some things out with Mike Denbroke, and hopefully be able to get Jadarian Price over 100 as well as Jeremiah Love over 100. Hopefully we don't have to use Riley Leonard that much running the football. But of course, Florida State is a team that is very disciplined, regardless of what their record says on defense. So ultimately, what's going to happen is we probably are going to have to use Riley Leonard, because Florida State's not just going to fall for your traditional run off tackle or run off guard. We'll see some good runs, but I guarantee you it'll be because we've got Riley Leonard doing his thing. But I've got the Notre Dame Fighting Irish pulling away from this Florida State team, and hopefully they're not as big a threat as many of the pundits that have said they could possibly be. And we can move forward and look forward for next week. But we got to handle business in South Bend. But that's what I see us doing. But guys, let me know what you think about the Notre Dame Fighting Irish's game on Saturday against the Florida State Seminoles. Who do you think is going to be the top player of this game? Do you think the Notre Dame Fighting Irish are going to win this game? And is it going to be a blowout? Comment down below. And if you subscribe to the show, please make sure you put your name down there. Also, go to the Facebook page at Talk Like a Champion. And if you want to find out what I'm involved in, go to my Instagram at Mr. CeeLo. But until we meet again, may the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun rise warm upon your face. May the rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand.